Okay, I wanted to talk about this video. It's kind of right along the lines of what I was talking about yesterday, and he's got a lot of the same information I have, so let's get started.
Of his car. The question being asked, how could he be allowed to buy those guns legally in Colorado? The question not being asked, how does an unemployed graduate student afford to buy them? Look, a decent AR-15 rifle costs $1,000 or more all by itself. The shotgun and the two handguns would easily run another $1,000 total. Spare mags, sights, slings, and so on, you're going to run another $1,000 across those three firearms. The bulletproof vest, that's easily another $800. And then you have all the money spent on bomb-making materials. Which brings us to our next question. As you know...
So that was a good question. Where did the unemployed student, the starving student, get all this money to buy all these guns and ammo? And another good question would be, why would he buy all that ammo? What is the point of thousands and thousands of rounds? He certainly didn't take all that with him. Was he planning on escaping afterwards and doing it again and again and again, and he needed all this ammo? That is a major question. Why would he buy all that ammo? What was the point of it? And why would he surrender at the end if he has bulletproof vest and helmet and he's got a gun that will penetrate their vests? Why would he just sit there in his car? Why wouldn't he jump in his car and haul ass out of there and get away so he could do it another day? These are all questions you have to ask. Okay.
Police say that Holmes rigged his apartment with an incredibly complicated maze of fire bombs. But on the day he was arrested, he immediately told police about the bombs. Why? So our...
Exactly. Why? I mean, if you think about it, the guy has no morals. Anybody that would take your gun and point it at a 6-year-old child and pull the trigger is a psycho. It's a person with no moral grounding. He has no heart, no soul. So how could somebody like that suddenly turn around and say, you know what, I don't want the cops to get hurt, so hey guys, when you go in my apartment, be real careful because the front door's rigged and it'll kill you. Just such a nice guy.
Second question, where did this graduate student in neuroscience learn how to make a series of bombs so complicated?
So the question he wants to ask is how the neuroscientists could come up with such powerful weapon, and this guy will even state that it's like something that you would expect from a military grade. So he's asking that question. My side question to that is, what was he doing in the neuroscience program? I mean, what exactly were they working on? I was reading that he was working directly with several scientists and several other graduate students. So whatever it is that they were working on was quite a program, and I would like to know exactly what it was, and if it had anything to do with, was there any experiments where they were using students in some way? And if so, what kind of experiments, and could they have led to instability in the mental health of a student? Could this have led to, I mean, could he use that as a defense if it turns out that he was involved in some way? These are questions I have.
That the FBI took 2 days to figure out how to disarm them. One official said the intricacy of these bombs is something rarely seen outside of war zones. He had a tripwire set behind the door to kill anyone who opened it. And yet, after setting this intricate death trap, decides to warn police about it before someone's killed? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Neither does what police are saying about this being a lone wolf attack.
All the evidence we have, every single indicator is that this is all Mr. Holmes's activity, and that
every single indicator. So all the witnesses that we just went over yesterday and the day before, where all of them say that somebody opened the door and let a gunman in, those aren't indicators. Hopefully those are just statements the cops make in order to throw off the other guy, and that they're really eyeballing somebody else, but they haven't released it yet. But we're going to find out, and if they try to bring this guy to trial without the second guy involved and as part of the plot, that would definitely be an issue with the case.
He wasn't particularly aided by anyone else.
But is that true? Eyewitness reports from the scene indicate that Holmes got a phone call from someone inside the theater, and also that tear gas was thrown from more than one location.
And that's what we talked about yesterday. But he just said Holmes was aided by somebody inside the theater. I believe that Holmes, if he was involved, must have been the one inside the theater, because he was the one with the orange hair, and whoever was the gunman had his head covered. So I was under the impression that they knew he was the guy by the fact that he had orange hair, but maybe I'm wrong. They said that they found him in his car with the guns and stuff, so that would not be evidence that he was the gunman. And according to witness number one, that was closest to the scene, 4 seats away and on the same level, he obviously said that the gunman was short, 5'8" to 5'9", and the guy that they arrested, Holmes, is 6'3", which is huge difference in a tall man. That's tall. 6'3" is really a big guy. 5'9" is short.
He got a phone call, and most people, when they get phone calls in theaters, they go straight out into the lobby to answer it. And this person went directly to the emergency exit. He had his foot propped open by the door, and from the crack, it looked like he was signaling somebody or looking.
So he's saying he can see through the crack, and he can see that he's signaling somebody. So you can imagine it. The guy's opened the door. He's got his arm out the door, and he's waving his arm
For somebody to come his way.
As I was sitting down to get my seat, I noticed that a person came up to the front row, to the front right, sat down, and as credits were going, I noticed it seemed like he got a phone call. So he went out towards the emergency exit doorway, which I thought was unusual to take.
So this is the second witness that's completely separate from the first guy that we just saw or heard from, and both these guys are corroborating each other and stating that there's the guy that walks down, sits in the corner down there, takes a phone call, and walks to the exit and opens the exit door.
A phone call.
From what we saw, he wasn't alone. He had someone with him.
This guy is one of 2 people. You can tell by the way the camera is that they've only got him in there, but to the right of him is another guy. They're both school kids, high school. And they both say the same thing, that the first canister thrown was from the middle, which is probably at that walkway that goes around the seating area back to the hallway that leads out to the lobby. And the 2 of them agree that was where the first canister was thrown. The second canister was thrown from the guy standing out in front with his face covered.
Because the second can of tear gas didn't come from his side.
So what you need to know is that there are so many questions about what really happened.
So Ben Swann kind of lays out the questions he has, and you can hear, I've got a few extras, and we're just going to keep chugging along with this thing, and we're going to find out the truth one way or another. So stick with us and see what we find. Good talking to you guys.